today you'll hear me talk a lot more about peace, but I want you to insert in your own life those things that you believe that are not available to you for whatever reason you've been praying and asking God for over the years. But I believe that all of us are in need of peace. Every single one of us. It is incumbent upon us, as we talked about, even in this text, where Elijah is not going to give up on his servant as he has instructed him to go look out toward the sea and to expect rain to come. But his servant could not see what Elijah saw. So the Bible says that he kept coming back saying, ain't nothing there. He says, no, go look again. Says that he kept coming back and he kept sending him back saying, no, it is in fact there. The rain is there. He kept going back, and it says that he sent him back seven times, and on the seventh time he came back. He said, there's something there, but to me it doesn't look like rain. It doesn't look like what I would describe for myself as a rain cloud. It just looks like a small cloud. It looks insignificant. Looks like it doesn't have any bearing on what you're saying. So I saw it, but I didn't think that's what you were, talking about. He said, no, that's what I'm talking about. In our lives, when God is at work, I told you I would talk about this element of peace, because when we ask God for peace, we get frustrated because, truth be told, we actually get peace mixed up with stillness. When we ask for peace, we are actually wanting things to be still. When in fact, in order for you to have peace, there must be something to accompany the peace that comes, and that is chaos. Y'all got quiet. We be asking God for peace, but we're not praying for stillness. Jesus is in the boat, and he says, peace, comma, be still. It's all of us where we ask God for peace, but we're actually looking for stillness, when in fact, God is saying peace is not stillness. Peace is not the absence of trouble. Peace is not the absence of turbulence or tribulation. But the fact is, peace is what prevails. It is trust that lingers along with peace. It is identifying with peace. It is the trust. I have had to grip myself around this on this past week, because I shared with y'all my gripping fear of heights. And I am back to report to you that I did go up on the ladder 35 feet. I went all the way up. But let me say this. Thank you, Jesus. Went up on this ladder and preparing myself for this day as I am going to deal with this fear. I'm asking God to give me peace. He says, I give you peace as long as you're standing on the floor. But you also have peace when you go up. But it is redefined and recharacterized as you go up. As Sydney's boyfriend is hanging out at the house, I'm like, listen, as tall as you are and as muscular as you are, I need you to accompany my peace. I need this. And I said, if you would do me a favor and just hang around the house just a little longer. I know Sydney's about to go to work, but if you would hang around with me, I promise you I will treat you to a great lunch if you will accompany my peace. Says, no problem, Mr. Jones, no problem, I got you. No matter what he said, it would not give me the security I need, because as we would bring the ladder in the house and fully extend it, and he would start to take control and raise the ladder up to the ceiling. I'm standing there, my heart is starting to race, and I'm like, God, give me peace. It's like, no, you got peace, but you still got to go up this ladder. As he is propping the ladder, we are talking the game plan. I'm on the ground and I'm saying, look, I trust you. Please, whatever you do, do not let this ladder go. Let me say thank you. That at this moment, as I'm talking to him, I see him and I know that he is capable of holding the ladder that I believe is going to protect my life. He is telling me and reassuring me, Mr. Jones, don't worry, I got it. I won't let it come down. My life is solely dependent on your safety. I'm trying to, filibuster, and kind of get myself worked up as I am pouring the paint into this jar, preparing myself. My heart is starting to race faster. And I look at him and I say, are you ready? He said, are you ready? I say, I think I'm ready. I said, whatever you do, I told y'all, I kept saying it. Whatever you do, don't let this ladder go. I said, I got you. I started to climb up the ladder. By instinct, as I get up about 5 rungs, I say, you got me. He said, Mr. Jones, I got you. I started to go up a little higher. I feel myself up about 10 feet, and I can feel the ladder start to wobble a little bit. I don't look down because I don't like heights, but I'm looking up and I'm saying, do you have me? He says, don't worry, I got you. I go up a little higher and the ladder starts to wobble a little more. At this point, I'm right next to the chandelier. I'm looking at the chandelier and I'm like, Lord, help me to just get here and do what I need to do so I can get down. He's like, go up this ladder. Get up. And I can see it within reach. I got about 2 feet to go. And I can feel the ladder start to wobble. Hear it just a little bit creaking on the ceiling as the ladder, and I'm yelling down, you got me. He's like, don't worry, I got you. And I can feel him kind of brace his leg against the ladder, and as it kind of moves in to stop moving, I start to sweat. My heart starts to race. My shirt starting to get wet, and I haven't even lifted a paintbrush yet. Listen, say, God, give me peace. You say, no, you have peace. At the moment that I am at the top and getting ready to start cutting in right around the chandelier, this is only a 5-minute job, but it seems like it's going to take me an hour. At that very moment, what I believe is going to be peace is going to be some chaos. At that very moment, the small dog in our house, 5 pounds, Miss Lola, is starting to bark on and on and on. She's not going to stop. She's getting too close to the ladder. I'm way up here, and she's yiping down on the bottom. And I'm like, that don't look like peace. And I start to yell at Lola, shut up. And Lola is not thinking about it because Lola sees something strange, which is me very high up on a ladder. This is not normal for what she's used to. And as I'm standing there, she's running in between the ladder and Nasir. As he is holding the ladder, she is running around and she is just barking. And it's at that moment that I am starting to pray, God, give me peace. Said, hush your mouth. You have peace. That's distraction. Many of us in here are in places where we never thought we'd be, and it's uncomfortable for you wherever you are in your own life circumstance. It's uncomfortable, and you are asking God to give you peace, and he said, I have given you peace. But God, this don't look like peace. That's because there's movement. But that don't have nothing to do with your peace. Your peace is what's entrusted to you. God says, no matter what's happening around you, you got to know that I'm in control. Lola is like the enemy. Yipe, 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 yipe. You take your focus off of the goal that God has placed in front of you to focus on the yiping that is around you, and you make the yiping the problem when in fact, peace is right inside you. As she yiping, I try to block her out. And I'm up doing what I need to do, doing the cut-ins and painting around the crown of the chandelier, and I am fixing and patching a pop-out nail, and she's still yiping. After a while, I don't hear it. Because my focus now is on the task that's in front of me. When I'm just about finished, I noticed I don't hear her. I yell down to Nasir. I say, you got me, right? I say, don't worry, Mr. Jones. I got you. I start coming down the ladder. I don't hear a yipe. Get all the way down to the floor. Lola has moved to the couch and laid down. Lola has come to conclude that I have stopped addressing her, which in essence makes her walk away. The more I stood there and said, shut up, the more she barked. The more I said, you're taking me off my game, the more she barked. But once I took my focus off of her and focused on what was in front of me, she said, he ain't even important no more. He ain't even important. And then she went over and went on the couch and laid down. When I came off the ladder, I stood there. My heart started to slow down. And there was this overwhelming sense of accomplishment. I may not be able to articulate this to you, but I stood there, even though I was only up there for a few moments, I stood there and I was like, God, I thank you that you caused me to do something that I was afraid to do, all because I thought about what could be probable in my life, not what was possible. We all focus on the probabilities that things will go wrong. And God is like, no, that's not a part of this script. Your success is mandatory. But you won't move because of the probabilities that you will fail. You won't do it because you're afraid. You will stay on the ground just like I did because you're afraid that you might fall when God is saying, I will never let you fall. That ain't a part of the script. He says to me, he says, told you, been telling you that what you said was not there. I told you to go look again. Now you see it's been there all along. This is the crazy thing about many of us, because I talked about this on last week, but I want to address something on today. Because we talked about last week about what God puts there and how we say it's not there. But I want to talk about this aspect of when we have had our hands and we've had our hearts and minds on what God has given us, only for us to move it ourselves and then blame someone else that it's been moved. I'm going to bring this home for you. I have this nature of accusing Sabrina, who is my wife of almost 34 years. Sabrina, where's my wallet? My wallet was right here. You moved my wallet. No, I didn't, honey. Yes, you moved it. My wallet was right here. Why are you always moving my stuff? Honey, I didn't touch it. Yes, you did. That is the buildup that I know within myself that I made myself believe I didn't do it, so you did it. She is adamant, honey, I didn't touch your stuff. I didn't touch it. Yes, you did. Yeah, you did. You did. You go on, you moved it. Yes, you moved it. No, you moved it. Now I got an attitude and I'm upset because you moved it. Only to discover that if I moved the piece of paper that was on the bar, there's my wallet sitting right there. And when I find it, I'm too prideful to go back and say, baby, I was wrong. It was right where I left it. But what I do is, well, you always move it, so, next time, just don't touch my stuff. Many of us are blaming, thank you, other people for you losing your peace. When your peace is right where you left it. You're blaming them for losing your joy. When they didn't touch your joy, you did. You put something over it and covered it up and you don't even see it. But you're going to blame the one that makes you upset, the one that irritates you, the one that you can't stand. Why are you always touching my stuff? I didn't touch it. And then we don't have enough, humility to be able to say, you know what? I was wrong. I've had to humble myself and go to my wife and have to swallow a few times. I remember where the Lord would say, you owe her an apology. I would go to her and I would have to say in detail, because a lot of us like to just say, I'm sorry, and go on about our business. But the Lord says, you go to her and you apologize. But I want you to say what you did. See, some of us have a problem with verbalizing the wrong that we have done to others, the things we have said. Oh, I'm sorry. But you're not going to say what you're sorry for. Now that level of maturity is, I'm sorry that I falsely accused you. I'm sorry the tone that I took in making you out to be the enemy. I'm sorry that I was premature in my accusation against you. I'm sorry that my posture wasn't one of humility. And I promise to not do that again. A few weeks ago, as I was looking in the closet for my jacket, we had just left church. And I'm like, I know I ain't crazy. I had the jacket on at church. Yeah, you know how you would kind of go back in your mind and kind of walk through it. And I was like, honey, have you seen my jacket? She was like, no. And I'm in the closet, and I'm going through the closet. I'm going hanger by hanger. I'm just going one by one. And I'm like, I know I'm not crazy. I went and looked under the bed. I went and looked behind the couch. I went and looked in my truck. I was looking in the garage, and I'm like, I know I'm not crazy. Honey, have you seen my jacket? And she was like, no, I haven't seen. No. I'm saying, okay, maybe. Here it is, y'all. It's my maturity. Because I want to say, you moved my jacket. But I learned my lesson. I said, okay, honey, okay. And I'm like, at this moment, y'all, I'm like, okay, I'm getting older. Am I starting to forget what I'm doing? And it's starting to, at this point, concern me. I'm like, okay, God, help me to find my jacket. I just want y'all to take this Selah moment, because I'm about to open this up. I am at this point where I just resolve that I have lost my jacket. Sabrina and I are getting ready to go somewhere. We go out to the car, and she has to go in the trunk to get something out of the trunk. She opens the trunk and looks at me. Oh, here's your jacket. I'm sorry. I forgot I put it in the trunk. I didn't take the occasion to go off, but it was where God reminded me that when you allow people to acknowledge they're wrong, then things come out a lot better. When she said it, I didn't say, see, I told you, you touched my stuff. But what I said was, baby, thank you. There are things that you've been asking God for. You are still calling yourself waiting on him to deliver, when God is saying to you today, go look again. It is right where you left it. Things may not be going right in your life, but it's right where you left it. When you focus on all of the outliers and all of the things that seemingly get you frazzled, what God has given you is still right where you left it. Nobody is at fault for, thank you, for the life that you're living now, except you. We love to put our lives in everyone else's hands but God's, and then fault God for not coming through when in fact we didn't entrust him with it. If you are where you figuring, this thing out now, and you're saying, God, I really want you to take control, then you really gotta allow him to have control. It's amazing that those things that I would blame someone else for, that I am at this place in my life, in my 57 years, almost 58 years of living, where I'm now just starting to figure this out. I want to say this to all the young people. Don't feel bad when things don't work out, because those of us who are older are still trying to figure this out too. When you think you got God pegged, God is like, okay, I'm going to show you you don't know me like you think you know me. There was this, when I came back from Germany, I had served in Germany in the army, and I came back, and I had bought a brand new car. Now, when I was in Germany, I would do every bit on the Autobahn of 150 miles an hour. You have heard it, that the Autobahn has no speed limit. That is true. And I did all that I could do that the car would give me. Came back to the U.S. My car got shipped here. And I couldn't do 150 miles an hour. But I remember, before going to my duty assignment, I went to Monticello, Arkansas, to stay with my dad. Hanging out with my dad. Me and my dad. And as my dad is riding in the car with me, at that time, We wasn't wearing seat belts. Y'all probably don't remember the time when seat belts weren't mandatory. Going down through the country road, my dad is sitting in the passenger seat without his seat belt. I'm driving. And my dad is just sitting there, as he always does, arms folded and just riding. And I am 20, 21, 22, typical boy with a fast car, driving down backcountry roads, and I am flying. I am doing 85, 90, 95, even 100. And my dad is just sitting over in the passenger seat. He's just bouncing along as I'm hitting a dip, run up along another car, and we decide we're going to race. We're racing down this backcountry road, and my dad is just I'm accelerating, and I'm hitting all the turns and the bends. My dad is just sitting there, just. I look at my dad. I said, "You're not afraid?" He said, "No, I trust you." I thought of that on last night as I studied, and God says, that's how I want you to be with me. My dad, I've never, ever seen my dad flinch. That's my testimony. I've never seen him flinch. God is saying, that's how I want you to be. I don't even want you to flinch when I've told you what is to be. Because the enemy will come. You ever stand your ground and dare somebody to hit you and you don't even move because you already know they know better? That's the enemy. The enemy knows better. But what we do is we give the enemy the power that God hasn't given him, and that is the enemy throws a blow and we start ducking and running and hiding. And God is like, what are you moving for? He knows not to touch you. What are you crying for? Why are you becoming exasperated and desperate when in fact the enemy knows not to touch you? Why are you letting this circumstance make you crazy when in fact you should trust me? When I thought about that last night, I chuckled because my dad has gone on to be with the Lord, but that memory of my dad sitting in the passenger seat and not saying, boy, slow down. He never said, boy, what you doing? Are you crazy? My dad just sat there and just said, I'm just going to let him just do because he know better than to kill me. That gave me a different respect for my dad. I never did it again because I said, if he's crazy enough to sit in the car with me while I'm doing 100 miles an hour and not flinch, then I'm crazy enough to honor him better. Whatever God is working in your life, I want you to fully trust him. And what he's placed there, it is still there. You just got to go look again.